Somebody taught you that the best way to deal with pain was to isolate. So you adopted a method of ignoring stuff you couldn't fix. And I bet you've been doing it all of your life. Since you were a little girl, since you were a little boy, you have become a master at leaving. It's distressful, I leave. It's discombobulating, I leave. How are you going to win if you're not in the game? You don't have to have the answers. You don't have to have the solution. You don't have to have the way out. All you have to do is show up in your own life. God knows where you live. God knows where you are. God knows what you're going through. And when he comes walking in the door, make sure you are where you're supposed to be. Even if you don't like it, even if it doesn't feel good, even if it makes you cry, even if it makes you hurt, don't be a ghost in your own life.
What makes it hard is your lack of belief that it can happen for you. The fact of it is, though, it's very doable. See, but you got to change, though. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. So if you're at a place in your life and you ain't happy with it, you have to change some things. But you have to make a conscientious decision that you're going to change. And it's not dependent on anybody else. It don't matter what your mama think. It don't matter what your coworkers think. It don't matter what your siblings think. It don't matter what your children think. It don't matter. They have nothing to do with it. This decision is yours and yours alone. It's two people born in a hospital every day. It's a person that's born in a hospital that's going to get a job, and somebody born in a hospital that's going to give them a job. You get to decide which one you're going to be. You get to decide. Let me tell you something. You get to decide if I'm going to be rich, poor, mediocre, plentiful, happy, sad. You have a decision to make.
I'm not going to settle for mediocrity. I'm going to keep pursuing what God put in my heart. The dreams God has placed in your heart, the promises He's spoken to you are not going to come to pass without opposition, without delays, without people trying to talk you out of it. There will be plenty of opportunities to get discouraged, to lose your passion and think that it's not meant to be. But if you're going to reach your destiny, you have to have a made-up mind. If you give up after the first time or the 5th time or the 30th time, what that really means is you didn't want it bad enough. There should be something you're believing for that you are relentless. You are not moved by how impossible it looks. You're not discouraged by how long it's taking. You don't give up because people told you no. Your attitude is, if I have to believe my whole life, I'm not going to stop believing. You can't be passive and indifferent. You have to have a holy determination. It's more than just your will. It's a fire on the inside, a knowing that it's supposed to be yours. When everything says it's not going to happen, instead of getting discouraged, you kick in to a new gear. Normal people would give up. Normal people would settle, but you're not normal. You want it on another level.
Listen, getting successful, whatever you consider successful, if it's rich, whatever, it's not a magic trick. It's not God picks certain people He'll make rich and certain people He don't. He gives all of us as His children the power of choice. You have a say-so in that. You can decide to be rich, and with God's help, it's highly doable. But you first have to think it.
How bad do you want what God has put in your heart? Bad enough to outlast the opposition? Bad enough to overlook some insults? Bad enough to do the right thing when the wrong thing is happening? Do you want it bad enough to keep pursuing even when circumstances say it's not going to happen? Many of the difficulties we face, the delays, the times it's not fair, that's simply a test. God is seeing how bad do you want it. This is what weeds people out. If you're overcome by problems, you let circumstances push you down, people talk you out of it, you're not going to have the strength or the courage to sustain where God is taking you. You have to be like David. Don't have a weak mentality, have a warrior mentality. You have to be more determined than the opposition. If you give up every time things don't go your way, you didn't want it bad enough. You have to dig your heels in and say, I am in this for the long haul. I know what God has spoken to me. I will get well. I will accomplish my dream. I will meet the right person. You're not moved by what's not working out, by how long it's taking, or by who's not for you. You know who is for you, the Most High God. If you're going to see what you're believing for, you have to be willing to do what other people won't do. Other people may not believe when it looks impossible. Other people may settle where they are. They may get discouraged. Tell you, don't bother praying. Don't bother believing. No use getting your hopes up. You're wasting your time. You have to do like Barnabas and say, God, this looks impossible, but I know you can do the impossible. The odds are against me, but God, I know you are for me. Well, I put in 3 applications. All 3 companies turned me down. I don't think I'll ever find a job. I say this respectfully, you don't want it bad enough. Well, I dated 2 girls. Both of them told me I wasn't their type. I don't think I'll ever get married. You don't want it bad enough. There are several million other girls out there. Well, I want to get well, but the medical report says I'm not going to make it. When the odds are against you, you have to want it on a new level. How bad do you want to get out of debt? Bad enough to not buy things you can't afford? Bad enough to not try to keep up with your friends? Bad enough to honor God by tithing your income? How bad do you want that promotion? Bad enough to get to work early? Bad enough to do more than what's required? Bad enough to take that online course to sharpen your skills? I don't want to take another course. I don't want more work. I just want the promotion. You don't want it bad enough. You have to stand out in the crowd.
You have to live your life with the expectation that great things are coming your way. And that's how it works. Now let me teach it to you. You grab your remote. You press the power button. What do you expect to happen? You expect the TV to come on. Guess what? It come on. If you want to see Sports Center channel 46, and you press 46 and OK or select, what do you expect to come on your TV? Sports Center. And guess what show up? Sports Center. They got the concept of creating a remote from the Bible. See, God is tied to all of this. You better understand what I'm trying to tell you now. The Bible says, a man is as he thinketh. God created us in his image. God thought of this world. He thought of it. So he created it. So he made you just like him, that your thoughts can create things. He made you just like him. Now you can't go make earth and heaven like he did, but you can make a better world for yourself.
Your destiny is too important to spend it with people that are not making you better. Who are you allowing to influence you? Are they challenging you, inspiring you, pushing you forward? You don't have time to waste with people that bring out the worst in you. Life is flying by. We don't get a do-over. This is it. Well, what if I hurt their feelings? What if you miss your destiny? What if they keep you from becoming who you were created to be? They may not want it bad enough. They may be okay with mediocrity, compromise, barely getting by in life. That's their choice, but that's not who you are. You have seeds of greatness. You're destined to leave your mark. You weren't created to fit in, to be average, to live with addictions, dysfunction, lack, struggle. You were created to stand out in the crowd, to be a cut above. Now do your part and distinguish yourself. Be willing to do what others won't do. Yes, it takes discipline. Yes, you have to say no to carnal desires, but the pain of discipline is less than the pain of regret. It's hard to bite your tongue, not say what you feel, but that pain is less than the pain of having someone you love walk away. It's hard to lay off the junk food, things that are not good for you. That pain is less than the pain of not being healthy. It's hard to break away from a friend that's pulling you down, but that pain is less than not reaching your dreams. One of the saddest things is to come to the end of life and wonder what I could have become. What if I wouldn't have let those people talk me out of my miracle? What if I would have broken away from those friends that were causing me to compromise? Where would I be? What if I would have treated my spouse with respect? What if I would have taken that step of faith in my career and not played it safe all the time? You don't have to wonder. You can start right now. It is not too late to become who God's created you to be. The question is, do you want it bad enough? Stir your passion up. Make this decision. I am not going to live complacent, accepting mediocrity, passive. I'm going to pursue what God put in my heart.
In 365 days, you'll have another year to look back on, and you could choose right now for that to be a gratifying reflection, or you could choose to be what your future self looks back on in disappointment. No matter what you do, you'll arrive at that day, and you'll come to the realization that time will never wait for you. You see, most people hate their past self, but I guess it's rarely enough to see the self of right now as an opportunity to fix that for the future. Do not outsource pain to your future self. Please make them happy.
People talk about faith the size of a mustard seed can move a mountain. But there are times where it's hard to muster up that faith. Because the size of a seed is so small it can seem insignificant. But a seed has power in it. Take an apple. You can count how many seeds are within one apple, but you can never count how many apples are within a seed. If you can never have enough faith to believe that you can do something great, I'm talking about believe in yourself so that others can follow that lead. Because no one will believe in you until you first believe in yourself. Because that self-belief begins that self-efficacy, trust in your own judgment. It takes times of failing and understanding that you can't acquiesce and let others decide for you what you will be or what you can do. You must believe that there's something great about you, something that is innate, that is in you, that no one else can bring to the world except you. No, that's not narcissism. It's an understanding that you are unique as your fingerprint. There's only one of you and there will only be one of you. Never stop believing in your greatness, even if it has to start as a seed.
If you feel out of place because you'd rather work on yourself than settle, then you're exactly where you need to be. Choosing effort over ease won't make you popular, but it will make you powerful. Every small decision to take the harder road adds up. It shapes you into someone who is unstoppable. Most people take the easy way. That's why most people don't stand out. The world doesn't need another follower. It needs leaders who dare to be different. It needs people like you. So don't stop now.
Make a journal and start journaling and writing down your thoughts and writing down your dreams. And when I say that, pick up a pen and a journal and write it down. Dreams, I know this sounds woo-woo, but it's not. Dreams are really powerful, very interesting. They're going to tell you a lot about yourself. It's going to tell you about those journeys your brain takes at night that are pretty fantastical. You write that down. You go back into your childhood and you go, what was it that made me so different? That was so weird about me? What was it that I was attracted to? As you go through that process, things will start coming up and memories will come up and you'll start connecting to who you were when you were young and you're connecting to who you were as an adolescent.
You should be excited, extremely excited, because this is what all the effort that you put in was for. This is what all the sleepless nights that you spent staring up at the ceiling, wondering if you're delusional, if all of this is going to work out is for. This isn't the end of the line. my friend. I'm not saying that you're going to obtain and achieve everything that you've ever wished for. But what I am saying is that very, very soon you will realize that it's all worth it.
You want to achieve your goals, but you're trapped between two realities. Wanting to be disciplined, but not acting disciplined. The only way out is to open the box. And you open that box by taking action. Think about it. How often is it that you dream of getting the results you want? Getting fit, building that business, accomplishing something big, but then you stay stuck in the same place, too comfortable to change. You're trapped between desire and hesitation, alive with potential, but not fully real yet. You have to open that box, and you open the box by taking action. So here's what you're going to do. Next time you procrastinate, next time that excuse pops up, take action instead. Force yourself, will yourself into motion to get that thing done. And I guarantee you that the second you start doing that is the second you start making progress towards your goals.
You don't need a therapist. You need to stop defining normal life as a problem. Growth is stressful. Decline is stressful. Stagnation is stressful. Life is stressful. The only thing that it actually tells you is that you're alive. Because you want to know who lives stress-free? Dead people.
The thing about pain is, like, you feel it right now, it's temporary, man. But later in life, you don't remember the pain. You just remember, like, the glory and the good times, that exhilaration of pride and achievement, man. That outweighs all the pain and struggle. Because if you push through the pain to achieve the pride, you forget about the pain was ever even there. But if you can't push through the pain and the pain stops you and breaks you down, well, then that pain is forever. Because you never got pride to outbalance it.
Science shows our expectations can drastically affect how we perceive reality. People who believe they are capable of doing something are far more likely to do it. People who believe they will heal from an injury or illness do so quicker and more consistently. The mind is a really powerful thing, and it affects our bodies and relationships in ways that we don't fully understand. This is why the advice to think positive works for so many people. It trains them to expect better things, which then makes those things more likely to happen. Leverage the expectation effect to your advantage.
Believe in the impossible, not because it's easy, but because the alternative is settling for less than you're capable of. Convince yourself that you can do it, even when the odds are stacked against you. That belief isn't just your starting point. It's the fuel that gets you through the days when nothing seems to work. Doubt might visit, but it doesn't get to stay. Because when you refuse to give up on yourself, it's only a matter of time before you win.